Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Annie and I make cute clay stuffs to keep my inner child alive and hopefully give you all a serotonin boost. Welcome back to another vlog of an introvert artist. Before I start making the clay pins today, I just quickly want to share with you guys these new boxes that I got for my small business. If you guys don't know, I own a small business called Sugar Cafe Charms where I sell my cute clay stuffs, and these boxes are the newest upgrade for my business. And while I was unpacking these boxes, I happened to remember the earlier days of my business and just recalling the fact that there are so many days and nights that I have spent in my room in this very table, sometimes making art and sometimes making content, or sometimes even researching for materials, packaging materials, unboxing new things, making new things. And while I used to think that all of this is so difficult and loneliness might be my biggest enemy, I later realized that loneliness might be a friend that is often misunderstood. I have said this in so many of my videos that I am kind of like an introvert person, and sometimes it's difficult for me to go out and meet new people and make new friends. And what I'm trying to say is that I realized it's fine to sometimes be alone and enjoy that alone times. You don't have to go out every single day and try to be an extrovert if that's something that is making you anxious. And so with today's video, I want to share how being alone helped me with my small business and also made me feel closer to my art. I just want to share my perception of it because, as I said, I think it's often misunderstood. And so with that, let's get started. For making today's clay pins, I have chosen some of the most easiest designs that I could possibly think of, which is very different to my other charms because usually I do like to add in a lot of other details, but today I have chosen easy, really simple designs, and that's because I was taking a break from my small business and social media in general for about a month now. And so when I was finally back, I wanted to try something new and simple just to get me started for the month. I have never made clay pins before, even though it is so popular in the clay community. And so I thought maybe I should give it a try. Although I realized that cold porcelain might not be the best material for clay pins because usually to make clay pins you need to roll out a piece of clay and then you need to cut out the shapes that you want. But because this clay is so soft, it was very difficult for me to do that. And so what I did was make them as usual, like I make my charms, but then press it and make it flatter. And even though that kind of worked, I still feel like that it could have been a lot better because I experienced a lot of cracks on these pins. Although most of the cracks I was able to smooth out using water, but I still think that I could have made them a little better. And so for that I need to experiment a little bit more. But honestly, I was not too tense to make them really perfect because I am not going to sell them. It's just me experimenting with new things and trying out new styles. And I know that this will help me in future when I try to make more pins. And that's why I think it's so important that sometimes you need to make time for yourself and just let your creativity shine, do new things, do what you enjoy without anyone judging you. And so in these moments, being alone is one of the best things for me because I will be honest with you guys, even though I have been making clay charms and clay art for more than 3 years now, if somebody is watching me making them, I will mess it up. And that's why I am very hesitant to even do lives or like workshop. I get very nervous because after all, I'm a person and that too a introvert artist. Sometimes it's okay to let your creativity shine all alone without showing it off to anyone. There lies a beauty in these moments that is often overlooked, like the little subtle sounds of rain when it's pouring outside, or just the way the sun shines on my table during the golden hour, or even the really subtle clay sounds that only I can hear and the camera even failed to capture them, or even just the small hint of happiness that we feel when our clay charms comes out perfect as we imagined. These are the really small moments that we often ignore as being normal or boring, but once you start seeing the beauty that lies in these small moments, you will realize that loneliness can be beautiful if you allow it to be. There is a kids park right beside our house, and every evening I see all these kids coming there excitedly and even adults coming out to do their evening walks and all of that stuff. And seeing that, I am reminded of my own childhood days where every evening I used to go out with my friends and play. I think I went out every single evening till my high school as well, after which unfortunately the pandemic happened, and me already being an introvert grew even more of an introvert during the pandemic, and I started talking to myself like I'm doing now. Just so you know, I was kidding. I talk to myself all the time, not just in the pandemic. But coming back to the point, I think I grew even more introvert than I already was during the pandemic was when I moved into a new city. I grew up and spent 19 years of my life in one particular city, and then suddenly moving into a new city was really hard for me. On one side, I grew distant from my childhood friends, and on this side, I struggled to make new friends here as well. Even though I did have my friend group, I always felt like I am that one friend who is always left out of all the conversations. And to be honest, I found their conversations very boring. Things that they discussed about was not something I was really interested in. Like getting a tattoo, for example. Even though I was not interested in hearing a hour-long discussion about tattoo designs, I forced myself to like those topics just to be included. And that's not particularly a bad thing. Hearing what your friends are talking about, making new friends, and just including yourself in the discussion is amazing. But I realized that I don't have to force my opinion on things that I find boring, and instead I will just doodle some cute designs on my back pages. And of course, at first it was uncomfortable and difficult, but as time went by, I realized that loneliness is not a lack of connection, but instead it's a chance to connect with yourself. And so it was in these small little moments that I found the actual me. I found a sense of purpose and peace in these small little moments of solitude that might not be interesting to others, but that's absolutely fine. I also completed a few orders this evening. I made these two bears for a earring, and the same customer placed order for these two bears, one which will be holding a heart and the other one will be in a Batman costume. They look so cute. Also, it's raining and it's getting dark, so let's complete all the pins quickly. So throughout the whole video, I was just yapping about being lonely and how it's beautiful to be lonely. But am I really alone? I mean, I'm really lucky to have parents with whom I can share most of my feelings. And also, I have elder sister whom you hear all the time in my videos, and she literally knows every single thing about me. And if I did not have them, my perspective would have been really different from what it is today. So just to be clear, I'm not saying you to abandon all your friends and just be lonely. I'm just saying that if you find yourself not fitting in a particular friend group, then maybe try enjoying your time alone. And as I was just chatting with you guys, the sun is almost down and I'm just going to let these babies rest for 48 hours. It has been 2 days since the charms have been drying. The last step will be just to glaze them using lacquer spray. I also added a layer of newspaper so that it doesn't get on the floor. You can directly do that on the floor if you are not scared of your mom, but I am. But anyways, the designs are done and the last step is to add the backing pins. I bought this backing pins maybe like 2 years ago, but then I never used it. But today, finally, they are worthy of being used. All I'm doing is I'm adding the brooch pins onto the back of each of my designs using super glue. I'm using Fevikwik, and after that it's finally time to see how they came out. Cameraman, jaldi focus karo. This is finally how all the pins turned out. I'm going to be honest, they look like lollipops, like those little sugar candies, but please don't eat them. Anyways, I added a few of them on my curtain. I also added a few of them on my bag, and honestly, they just make me so happy when I look at them. They are so simple yet so cute. And please let me know which was your favorite design. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Links to the material used in the video will be provided in the description. See you in my next video. Take care. Bye.